Investiture of the Gods, Chapter 87.
We're digging into a really critical chapter of Investiture of the Gods, where the sheer might of the Zhou army is just completely neutralized.
Neutralized by what, exactly?
By one single, highly specialized defensive technique, the art of traveling through the earth. And what impossibly specific, almost bizarre counter magic the Zhou had to, invent or find just to beat this one guy.
It really highlights the value of having that one niche expertise, doesn't it?
It does. But before we get into the details, we have to talk about the context. The sources themselves, they colored this whole section with this feeling of inevitability.
Oh, so?
Well, the opening poem is intensely dark. It suggests that even though both sides have these masters of the earth-traveling art, destiny is just going to overpower any amount of skill or effort. It even explicitly foreshadows the ending, saying, his head will hang high over Mianchi.
Wow. So high skill meets a fixed fate. That sets a pretty heavy stage.
It really does.
Okay, so let's get to that first confrontation. The Zhou army arrives, they're confident, they've got their powerhouse lineup, and Neza, the great warrior on his windfire wheels, he charges out to face Zhang.
And this is supposed to be it, right? A straightforward victory.
Exactly. It starts just as you'd expect. They duel for a bit, and then Neza just deploys his nuclear option.
The 9 Dragons Divine Fire Cover.
That's the one. He traps Zhang and his horse inside this massive smoking dome, unleashes 9 fire-breathing dragons, and just reduces the whole area to ash.
And Neza goes back to camp, thinking, job done. He announces victory. Zhang is gone.
But that victory, the one that should have just won them the county, it was a complete mirage.
Not even close. Zhang was faster than the fire. He was just too quick. He sensed the danger and immediately used his secret technique.
The earth-traveling technique.
Exactly. He rolls off his horse, sinks straight into the soil, and saves himself. His poor horse, though, takes the full blast.
And that's the moment the whole landscape of this battle just shifts, isn't it?
Completely. They haven't just failed to kill a general. They've discovered their enemy has a master-level skill that bypasses everything. All their conventional attacks, all their defenses.
Zhang isn't just a defender anymore. He's now this unchecked subterranean assassin.
Yes. And his wife, Gao Lanning, who is an incredible warrior in her own right, she gives him this critical piece of strategic advice the moment he gets back.
She tells him to forget traditional warfare.
Totally. She sees that facing heroes like Neza or Yang Jian head-on is pointless. Her advice is pure leverage. Use that stealth, that undetectable movement.
And go assassinate the leaders.
Go assassinate King Wu and Jiang Zia in their sleep that very night.
Yeah.
If he pulls it off, the entire war effort just collapses instantly.
Wasn't that a massive risk? I mean, if he got caught, Mianchi would have lost its only real advantage. Was that a sound move or just desperation?
I think it was desperation born from the scale of the threat. She knew they couldn't win a straight fight. She calculated that the risk of losing their one secret weapon was worth the potential payoff of total victory.
He was their one-time use tactical nuke?
Basically, yes. And he agrees. He prepares. He grabs a hidden blade, twists his body, and just sinks into the ground, heading straight for the Zhou camp.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, because the Zhou camp is not defenseless. The assassination attempt begins, but Zhang runs straight into the most customized, specialized counter-stealth defense you could possibly imagine.
We get introduced to Yang Ren,
who just happens to be on patrol.
Yang Ren is one of the most visually unsettling and unique characters in this whole story. And his role here as a sort of early warning system is absolutely vital.
So what's his deal? What's his ability?
Well, the sources give a very specific description. His original eyes were removed, and now he has 2 hands growing out of his eye sockets. And in each palm, there's a functioning eye.
Wait, hold on. So Nez's divine fire doesn't work, and the counter is a guy with literal eyes in the palms of his hands.
It's the ultimate mythological surveillance system.
I'll say.
These palm eyes, they let him see for 1,000 miles. And critically, they see everything vertically, up into the heavens and down into the very depths of the earth.
So as Zhang is creeping underground,
Yang Ren spots him instantly. The text is so specific it says he sees Zhang carrying a knife traveling beneath the ground.
That one bizarre ability just completely invalidates Zhang's main advantage. His stealth is gone.
Zeroed out, Yang Ren sounds the alarm. There's an assassin in the camp. And of course, everyone is confused because they all think Zhang is dead.
Right, they think he's a pile of ash.
But Yang Ren's vision confirms it. And Zhang, down below, realizes his cover is blown. He's shocked. He understands the zoo camp isn't just protected by soldiers, but by Lo. And the term used is Yiran.
Yiran. Could you unpack that for us? What does that really mean?
It means something like unconventional people or experts of unusual skills. It's this moment of realization for him that the zoo aren't just an army anymore. They've collected these specialized supernatural assets.
Living radar systems.
Exactly. Living radar systems, walking arsenals. They have specific tools for specific esoteric problems. His mission failed because they had the one unique sensor needed to detect him. He has to retreat immediately.
So the lesson is, the camp wasn't protected by raw force, but by a very specific, targeted supernatural defense.
That's the core of it. And this leads us to the next morning. Zhang Ku is, he's enraged, he's humiliated, and Yang Jian, another of the zoo's great heroes, shows up demanding a fight.
And this one is personal. There's a vendetta here, right?
A deep one. Yang Jian had previously killed Zhang Ku's mother, so they clash. And Yang Jian, knowing the danger, quickly uses his own supernatural asset. He unleashes the howling celestial dog.
But it doesn't work.
No. Again, speed beats power. Zhang Ku doesn't even bother fighting the dog. He just drops his weapon, jumps off his horse, and poof, he's underground again.
And what's Yang Jian's reaction? The text captures it so well.
He's just amazed, utterly amazed. He looks on and basically admits the truth. Zhang Ku's earth-traveling technique is truly superior. He says he's superior to Tuxingsun.
That's a huge admission. Tuxingsun is their guy, their own earth-traveling specialist.
It's high praise, and it raises the stakes enormously. If their own expert isn't as good, how can they possibly catch this guy?
And before they can even figure that out, we have to remember the political situation. Zhang Ku goes back to his wife, Gao Lanning, and suggests they just abandon Mianqi. Fall back.
And she refuses. She has this incredible grasp of military geography. She says Mianqi isn't just some town. It's the critical screen or barrier, the pingsang that protects the capital, Zhaozh.
If they retreat, the zoo get access to the Yellow River defenses and the capital is exposed.
They have to fight to the death,
Yeah.
right here. And that resolve that leads to the next great clash, the duel of the warrior wives.
This scene is fantastic. Gao Lanning rides out in the stark white uniform, ready to challenge the whole camp.
And she's met by Deng Chanyu, who is Tuxingsun's wife. And the visual contrast is just brilliant. Gao Lanning in white armor, Deng Chanyu in scarlet red. They're compared to beautiful flowers, to goddesses, a celestial duel on the battlefield.
They fight hard, 20 rounds. But Deng Chanyu realizes she can't win with just brute strength. She needs a special technique.
She needs to find a creative way around her opponent's skill. So she pulls a classic move, a feigned retreat, a zabai.
She pretends to flee, luring Gao Lanning in.
And Gao Lanning, maybe a little overconfident, she falls for it.
Yeah.
She pursues her, and it's a lapse in judgment that costs her.
Because Deng Chanyu turns at just the right moment and unleashes her signature weapon.
The five-colored stone.
It's not just a rock, right? It's a precision projectile.
It is. It flies true and hits Gao Lanning right in the face.
Yay.
It's the decisive blow of the day. Her lip is swollen, she's in pain, and she's forced to retreat in shame.
Which again just proves that the zoo heroes aren't just strong, they have these unique, specific skill sets. Palm eyes, precision throwing stones. They're necessary to beat specific enemy abilities.
Exactly. And while all this is happening, the zoo camp gets its own earth-traveling boost.
Yeah.
Tuxingsun finally returns from transporting grain.
He reports to Jiang Zia, hears about this amazing earth traveler Zhang Ku, and he's immediately skeptical. He can't believe anyone could be better than him at his own game.
He's arrogant, but the source material just lays out the cold, hard numbers. It clarifies the gap between them. Zhang Ku travels at 1,500 lees per day.
And Tuxingsun.
Only 1,000 li per day.
A li is about a third of a mile, so Tuxingsun is doing maybe 330 miles a day underground, which is staggering. But Zhang Ku is covering almost 500 miles a day.
It's an insane operational advantage. He is significantly faster.
So Tuxingsun, still confident, challenges him. They go underground to fight.
And this is where it gets nuanced. In the close quarters underground, that raw speed difference matters a little less. The text contrasts their styles. Zhang Ku is large, making him harder to maneuver. Tuxingsun is short and nimble.
So he's better at fighting in the earth?
But Zhang Ku is better at escaping through the earth. So even with his agility, Tuxingsun can't pin him down. That extra 500 li of speed means Zhang Ku can always pull away.
So Tuxingsun has to go back to Jiang Zia and make a really tough admission.
He has to admit his own skill isn't enough. He tells the general there's only one solution left, a secret technique known only to his master.
The pointing to earth and turning it to steel.
Yes, the Xingdi-Changgang effect. This is the final, ultimate strategic choice. It's an admission that military power has failed, magic has failed, specialized skills have failed.
The only way to beat the unbeatable Earth Traveler is to literally change the environment, turn the ground into an immovable substance steel, so his skill is useless.
It's environmental warfare. And so the final mission is set. Tuxingsun has to travel to Zheolong Mountain to get the talisman from his master to enact this spell.
He's desperate. And his wife Gao Lanying's initial plan is, well, it's pretty standard. Hold the line, wait for reinforcements.
But the story tells you right away that's not going to work.
Right. Fate intervenes. As they're talking, the sudden strange wind just snaps the great divisional flag, the Badui Ti, right outside their home.
A huge, unmistakable bad omen.
A massive one. And Gao Lanning is very pragmatic about it. She grabs her gold coins for a divination reading, and it confirms the worst. Tuxingsun isn't just tunneling around. He's on his way to Zheolong Mountain to get a new power.
A power-up. It's called Finger Earth into Steel.
And we really need to understand why Zangku is so terrified of that specific technique.
What does it do?
It would let Tuxingsun instantly harden any patch of earth he touches into solid steel. So for an Earth Traveler, that means he can block any enemy trying to tunnel after him, and he can fortify his own positions instantly. It would completely negate Zangku's own mobility.
So he can't wait. He absolutely cannot wait. He has to intercept Tuxingsun before he gets this upgrade.
Exactly. And this is where it all comes down to logistics. Pure speed.
Right. The travel rates. Tell us about that.
So Tuxingsun is fast, don't get me wrong. He can travel 1,000 light a day with his tunneling. But Zangku is faster.
Much faster.
He can cover 1,500 light a day. That 50% speed advantage, that's the window. That is everything.
So he beats him to Zheolong Mountain. He sets up an ambush at a place called Fierce Beast Cliff.
And Tuxingsun arrives, completely happy, completely unaware. He thinks he's about to claim his new prize.
And that confidence is his undoing.
It's his doom. Zangku ambushes him instantly. It's a fatal blow. And the text makes it really clear this was brutal. It wasn't a clean duel. He cuts a piece from his shoulder and back, takes the head, and immediately puts it on display back at Mianchi County. A very stark message to the zoo forces.
So back at the zoo camp, the scouts see this. The report gets to Jiangxia.
And he calculates what happened and realizes, Tuxingsun died innocently outside of a battle formation. He expresses this tremendous sorrow, and he even takes personal responsibility for it.
That's a big moment.
It is, because it's not just grief. He's recognizing that the enemy is operating with a level of ruthlessness he just didn't anticipate. But before he can even plan his next move.
The visceral response.
The immediate visceral response from the zoo side.
Yes, Tuxingsun's wife, Deng, she hears the news, and she is just overcome with rage. She rushes out for revenge, totally ignoring Jiangxia, begging her to be cautious.
And Deng is a powerful warrior, but she runs straight into Gao Lanning's trap.
And this brings us to the second, and I'd say more dangerous magical weapon here.
The 49 Solar Divine Needles. The Taiyang Shenzhen.
This weapon it's just devastating. But the source has this fascinating detail about how it works. Gao Lanning doesn't just pull it out. She releases the needles inside the city first to prepare them. What's the significance of that?
That preparation is critical. These aren't just, projectiles. They're specialized magical items. They probably need some kind of charging ritual or alignment.
So she's getting them ready.
She's priming them. So when Deng Chanyu appears, she just has to deploy them. They strike her in the eyes, instantly blinding her.
She's just helpless, right in the middle of her charge.
Completely helpless. And Gao Lanning strikes her down. It's a double tragedy and one of the most ruthless counterattacks in the whole story.
And the text points out the irony, right? That this couple, the Earth Travelers, died at Mianchi, so far from the main action at Mengjin.
Yeah, they failed to see the bigger picture and got taken out by this very specific, localized magic.
So Jiangxia gets it immediately. The rules of the game have changed.
He issues a clear warning. The Solar Divine Needles are an existential threat. You cannot fight this enemy directly. The risk is just too high.
But despite that, they still try a brute force approach. A massive four-sided siege. They throw everything they have at Mianchi. Ladders, fire cannons.
Everything. They attack for 2 full days and nights. A relentless assault. And Mianchi, this small county, holds.
It holds.
It forces Jiang Ziya to see that this is futile. He's just exhausting his troops. He has to pull back and come up with a whole new strategy. The front line is completely stalled.
Okay, so now we have to pivot. We leave this bloody, stalled front line and go 400 lines away to the capital, Zaogi. And this shift really shows the disconnect, doesn't it?
A total disconnect. While all this is happening, King Zhu is feasting. He's entertaining guests at the Deer Terrace.
And just getting the news to him is a huge problem. Zhang Ku's messenger has to somehow sneak past the 400 feudal lords already camped out at Mengjin.
Who are just waiting for the signal to attack the capital. Mengjin is geographically right in the way.
So Wei Zin, a relative of the king, finally delivers the report, and the king is shocked. Right in the middle of his party. He's stunned the enemy is at his doorstep.
His first impulse.
Pure, reckless heroism. He wants to lead the army himself.
Of course he does. And this is where Middle Minister Fei Lian steps in with some actual, sound strategic advice. It's a huge contrast to the king's usual behavior.
What does he say?
He argues against the king leaving the capital.
Why was that so revolutionary? I mean, it seems like common sense.
Because it put logistics and geography above personal valor. Fei Lian pointed out that if the king leaves Zaoge, those 400 lords at Mengnanin will immediately cut his supply lines.
He'd be trapped.
Trapped between two armies. Head and tail attacked, as the text says.
Yeah.
This is a huge moment where, geographical reality finally breaks through the political delusion.
So instead, Fei Lian suggests putting up a massive reward. Heavy reward breeds brave men, the classic call to arms.
And it works. Instantly. 3 exceptional heroes show up at Zaoge from the mythical Meishan region, ready to answer the call. They say their names are Yuan Hong, Wu Long, and Sheng Hao.
And here's the part I love, the big reveal that makes these stories so great.
They're not just heroes.
No. The text confirms they are actually spirits. Yuan Hong is a white ape spirit.
Aba Yuan Zheng. Wu Long is a centipede spirit, and Shang Hao is a long snake spirit.
And they even picked their human surnames based on their animal forms. Yuan for ape, Wu for centipede.
And Shang for long snake. It's a very clever way the author signals their true nature to us, the readers, without exposing them to the court.
So they get their audience with the king, and he asks them for their brilliant strategy, probably expecting them to say they'll rush to Mianchi.
But Yuan Hong, the new Grand General, proposes something completely unexpected.
He dismisses Jiang Ziya as just empty words and clever talk.
Right. And he suggests bypassing the crisis at Mianchi entirely, go straight for the source, strike Shiqi, the Zhu power base, and capture Jiang Ziya himself.
It's a bold plan.
Very bold. His theory is you capture the head and the 800 feudal lords will just surrender.
And King Zhu loves it. He's completely sold on the audacity of it and makes Yuan Hong the Grand General. But the court isn't so sure?
No, not at all. There's this officer, Ruenji, a very traditional, learned man, and he watches Yuan Hong during training.
What does he see?
He sees that Yuan Hong acts without proper protocol. He doesn't act like a general, according to tradition. And he thinks to himself, this ape spirit in disguise is no match for Jiang Ziya.
So you have this paradox. The traditional court wisdom immediately distrusts the unconventional leader.
But that unconventional leader is the only one offering a practical way forward. And that tension gets even higher when the king asks Yuan Hong to take a small force to help out at Mianchi.
And Yuan Hong does something incredible. He refuses a direct order from the king.
He refuses. And this refusal is probably the single most important strategic decision in this entire section of the book.
He explains that marching to Mianchi would be a total disaster. And it all comes down to logistics. It all comes down to Mengjin. Explain the importance of Mengjin as the throat again.
Mengjin isn't just a campsite for the lords. It controls the central supply routes, the Liangdao, that feed the entire capital. Yuan Hong states it plainly. Food is the life of the 3 armies. If he sends his army to Mianchi,
the lords of Mengjin just cut off his food supply.
They cut the supply line. His army wouldn't be beaten by a magic needle or in an ambush. They'd starve before they even reached the battle.
Wow.
Exactly. So Yuan Hong convinces the king that the offensive plan is good, but the immediate priority has to be securing their own rear. He says they must mobilize 200,000 soldiers to secure the throat of Mengjin first.
So it's a defensive move that actually secures the capital and at the same time starves out the enemy by blocking those lords.
The king is completely won over. He's convinced by this cold, hard, logistical reality. He calls Yuan Hong a pillar of the state, and the huge Shang army marches, but not to the chaotic front line at Mianchi.
They march to the strategic choke point at Mengshan.